sitting with Johnny Miller. And Johnny is a political journalist who often works in areas of conflict. He has recently been in the Ukraine, he's been in Syria, and he is also a breathwork practitioner. Now, I'm very interested in breath, as many of you know. I think breathwork is incredibly important. I myself have done a video on breathing techniques for anxiety, and I wanted to find out Johnny's story, how you're a political journalist working in areas of conflict and how you come to be a breathwork practitioner. And I've never heard of a breathwork practitioner. So where do we start? Okay, first of all, start with your work. So.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll tell you my story. So for many years, as a political journalist, worked in many war zones in Syria and Libya and elsewhere, and
recently in the Ukraine.
Recently in Ukraine, yeah.
Right.
But I guess a lot of my problems started in Burma. There's a genocide of Muslims in Burma. I don't know if you know
Yes,
about that.
yes.
But I contracted a parasite, which made me very sick, and over the years I developed severe IBS, irritable bowel syndrome.
Right.
Millions of people in Britain suffer from IBS. Some people, it's not very acute, they can deal with it.
A very difficult thing to treat.
Absolutely.
Very difficult, yeah.
And some people very severe, and mine became more and more severe. So when I returned from Syria, it became so bad that I couldn't work. I was missing work deadlines, constantly sick, and realized that I had to do something about it. And over the years, I've been to so many doctors, and many of your viewers who have illnesses, psychosomatic illnesses or autoimmune diseases, etc. When the doctors can't really help, so you've got a doctor after doctor. You know, I went to.
And this happens a lot, I know. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're on Harley Street at the moment, so I went to a gastroenterologist just over the road from here.
Yeah.
Did tests, and she basically says, you know, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's just in your head, perhaps.
Yeah.
And so many people, every time I'm at a party or a social event, I'll always meet somebody with some kind of illness, and they go to doctor after doctor.
Yeah.
And who can't help them. So finally, and I went to the NHS. I'm a big fan of the NHS, but their program on IBS couldn't help as well. I think it has helped some people, so
right.
I recommend it, but didn't help myself.
And IBS can cover many different things. It's just a generic term for all kinds of symptoms,
something's
isn't
messed
it?
up with your stomach, basically,
yeah.
And they don't know what. And so I went to Bali. So Bali is famous for spiritual healing, alternative healing.
So you went looking for an answer in Bali?
Absolutely, yeah. And largely to take time off for stress during the pandemic as well. So
right.
It's a good place to spend the pandemic. But largely to deal with stress issues. And there I found all these alternative healing. And it's a fantastic place, Bali, if you're interested.
Yeah.
It's a place that many people go who felt let down by Western medicine.
Right.
I think we'll talk about that in a bit.
Okay.
The difference of Western medicine and more alternative or Eastern healing.
Right.
And breathwork. So there I discovered breathwork, and really, well, now my IBS is basically cleared up. Occasionally I have flare-ups, but it's basically cleared, not just because of the breathwork, but the things that taught me.
Right.
And so now, yeah, so I practice breathwork.
So how does that work? So, I mean, I've never heard of a breathwork practitioner. Is that?
Well, yeah, it's very much a new thing. So 20 years ago, people would talk about hypnotherapists and
yes.
think, well, that's crazy pseudoscience.
Right.
You know,
now
hypnotherapists just on the NHS.
Exactly.
And so breathwork, it's becoming very popular. I don't know if you've heard of Wim Hof.
Yes, of course.
So
Wim Hof, who's you can Google him, you can find him. He's really taken off.
Best-selling books now. He's got a reality show on the BBC.
Yes.
All these celebrities follow him.
Yeah.
So he does a similar type of breath work that I do, and he also.
Well, his involves plunging yourself into very cold water.
Yeah, which I do. I went to the gym this morning. I've got
Did you?
A cold pool at my gym, which I go to almost every day. It's
I haven't gone the cold water route yet. I don't like cold water.
I'd recommend it. I mean, it really just opens up all the capillaries, makes you think in a different way. So,
yeah, I know, I've heard it's amazing. I still just don't like cold water.
So with Wim Hof, so with Wim Hof, particularly because of Wim Hof and other practitioners, it's really exploded.
Right, yes.
And so in Bali, breathwork is very popular. People go to Bali, they have to do breathwork because that's one of the things you do there.
Right.
But now,
and as a healing thing.
Absolutely, and principally it's a healing thing.
Or
Absolutely.
to help,
I mean,
you know, like I've used breath in two ways. One, as an actor, you've got to be able to breathe properly and into the pit of your stomach to be on stage and to say huge amounts of text. And the other thing is, well, obviously you want to oxygenate your system, and also for stress.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's to me, you know, deep breathing is imperative to handle stress.
There's so many different types of breathwork.
Yeah.
So you do some breathwork to relax you. There's so many different types. What I do here at Zoe Clues Associates, where we are now, is an hour-long journey set to music, and
Right.
it connects the mind and the subconscious mind in quite a strong manner. So it's quite a journey you go on. It's not just relaxing. It effectively, with the type of breathing that we do, raises the oxygen levels in the blood,
Yes.
taking your mind from the resting beta brainwave into the dream state, the alpha dream.
Into the dream state.
Absolutely. So you're essentially
So, but are you awake?
you're awake.
So it's
but
not
you're
it's not
essentially doing-
hypnotherapy.
It's a stronger version of hypnotherapy. So it really takes you on a journey. So many people, and it's interesting, when I was doing breathwork on local Indonesians in Bali,
Yes.
they just had wonderful journeys, seeing visions, flying with angels, whatever. British people, Westerners,
No.
normally it's a lot of tears, a lot of emotion comes out.
Really?
So you'd be surprised that it's most people doing are kind of shocked about, whoa, they did not expect this.
the level of emotion coming out.
Absolutely. When I first did it in
Yeah.
Bali, I thought, what is this? I thought I was just going to some alternative healer, and it's just the tears come out, and it can be a very, very emotional experience that you can't
So
stop
what
yourself
form?
going
I
through.
mean, what does it look like in one of your sessions? Is it literally you're just talking to someone and saying breathe in, breathe out? I mean, what does it look like?
So it's set to music, very
Right.
loud music.
Very loud music.
Yeah. So in this space here, we use headphones because there's
Right.
other people next door, and other places I do, we just use loud music. Quite emotive music. The music can change.
Right.
And then we change the breath pattern. And that breath pattern, as I said, raises the oxygen levels.
Right.
And so it changes the state of your
Do
consciousness.
you do that fast abdominal breathing? That's quite yogic. I've done yogic breathing.
Yeah, that's sort of, you can do a fire breath, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's faster, it's sped up, yeah. And I also
Right.
use it through the nose as well.
Like alternate nostril breathing? Is it that sort of
no,
thing?
we don't use
Right.
alternative.
Yes.
There's so many different types of
Yes.
but it's interesting as well. I just say that some breathwork practitioners use breathing through the mouth.
Right.
I very much don't do that. So, for example, excuse me, if you breathe through the mouth, you give me some breaths from the mouth.
I don't like breathing through the mouth. I actually literally have recently written an article about nasal breathing as opposed
fantastic.
to mouth, because and what I heard is, well, I mean, you know, we are meant to breathe
Absolutely.
through the nose,
Absolutely.
and that I heard that if you, and some people are just natural mouth breathers, but that the shape of their face actually changes. They'll have a narrower face.
Yeah,
Which I couldn't quite believe.
Sure.
And also when you breathe through your nostril, you know, you've got nasal hairs that...
you're supposed to breathe through the
you're
nose.
meant to
And
breathe
also,
through the
it
nose.
activates the parasympathetic nervous system,
Yes.
your rest and
Yes.
relaxation state. So if
Yes.
you breathe through your nose now, we know all this, but you'll
It
see it's
feels
a much
so different.
much
Yes,
fuller
it's a
breath,
much fuller breath.
One
And
of
it
the things-
also cleanses the air through
Absolutely. I
your
don't know if you've
nasal
read
hairs.
a book called Breathe by, I've forgotten the
No.
writer. Brilliant book called Breathe. I really recommend that, in which he talks about the importance. We're supposed to breathe through the nose, but over centuries we've lost it. He talks about a Native American tribe in America whose mothers used to stand over their babies and literally hold their
mouth.
so
So that they would
through
breathe
the
through their
nose,
nose.
absolutely.
Wow.
And we're supposed
Wow.
to be doing that, but we've lost that. One recommendation I give to
we have,
people
yes.
who can't sleep, and one thing I do occasionally when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, when I deep breaths through the nose,
Yes.
and it just relaxes you, and you just pass out again.
Absolutely.
Breathing through the mouth, you're in that hyper state. That's what
Exactly.
you do when you're running away
It sort
from
of
a lion.
goes into your chest, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And no, breathing is huge. I mean, it's been, you know, when I think of it, you know, breathing has actually been quite a big part of my life.
Well,
For various,
I hope so.
but correct breathing,
Yes, absolutely.
nasal, deep breathing. You know, as I said, is part of my profession as an actor, and also for stress, and you know, you want to properly oxygenate, and also I think most people don't think about breathing much. And I think a lot of people do, they may breathe sometimes through their mouth, all the time through their mouth, but they do shallow breathing.
Sure, absolutely.
And, I just think it's really important to just occasionally to just be very still.
Yeah, absolutely.
And take some long, slow breaths, because it's just so beneficial.
Absolutely.
So as a breathwork practitioner, what would be the reasons of people coming to you? Would it be for stress? Would it be for health complaints?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different reasons. So breathwork can create great breakthroughs. So many people in Bali or elsewhere will constantly complain about talk therapy, and I've had some fantastic talk therapies.
Yes.
I've learned so much about myself, and it's helped me so much. But sometimes talk therapy, you just find yourself going around in circles, or you feel like you've learned enough. You feel like you've learned about the reasons you act like you do.
But you still don't feel that good.
Absolutely. Or you realise certain things about your childhood.
Yes.
Oh, okay, maybe I didn't have a normal childhood. Thank you for making me realise that. So talk therapy can be fantastic. But sometimes it can get to a point where it's just not doing anything more. So as I said, when you're doing these breathwork journeys, it really connects your subconscious mind. And so you can really create great breakthroughs and realizations of what really is holding you back or hurting you. So we all have traumas and stresses. We all have problems in marriage, problems with a boss, problems with all these things. We know that these are stresses. But there's other deeper stresses. And this is what Gabor Mate, I'm a big fan of, I'll talk about with you later. But there's all these other stress and trauma. How do you feel about yourself? Do you have enough self-worth? Do you get angry too easily? Do you try to people please? Do you love yourself enough? All these kind of things, which most people have a problem with, often come from childhood. And really delving into your subconscious mind. So much of us go through the day thinking, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good, and whether it's addiction problems or all these other things they find to make them sort of get through the day and get through the week, but really delving into your subconscious mind and trying to figure out what are the deep problems, the deep rooted problems, whether it's childhood problems or elsewhere, that I'm struggling with. And that's what breathwork can do, really connect deep into your subconscious mind. So many people, particularly Westerners, will break out in tears. The first time doing breathwork myself, I spent the first few times just in floods of tears.
Wow, isn't
and
that amazing? Just from breathing.
And absolutely, and you can't help it. Some people burst out laughing. And you see a lot of visions. You see, very clearly, it is like being in a dreamlike state. But so many people. This is my first breathwork session, so many tears. After the first few sessions, those tears left, but because particularly men, for example, in our society, we're told, boys don't cry, we're not allowed to cry. So particularly men store up so many tears from so many things. Tears from childhood. My father died when I was young, never cried about it. He just hold these things in. So all these tears are stored within you.
Right.
And stored very much within the body as well. All these traumas over the years.
So people are coming to you as a form of therapy.
Absolutely.
It is a form of therapy. So stress, anxiety, therapy.
Yeah, it's a self-healing form of therapy. So,
I like
clients,
that, a self-healing
form
of therapy.
So clients come to me, I ask them what's coming up with them, and talk some things through whatever's coming up with them, and then we go through the journey, and it's very much self-realizations. Right. And after the journey, we can talk what came up for you, what is it, what the realizations are.
And will people come, will sometimes people need a few sessions, or they just need one?
And just like any therapy, some therapies some people love breathwork and do it a lot.
Yes, and I do love breathwork, I have to say.
You haven't done this kind of breathwork.
It feels so good.
And other people, it's not necessarily for them. And it is a powerful journey. It is a powerful journey. And also some people don't feel ready to really delve into the subconscious. Some people
you can only do these things when you're ready.
Absolutely.
Some people don't want to go there, or they're not ready to go there. And it's always, I think, worth asking yourself why. But you have to feel safe when you do it, that the moment has to be right.
Absolutely.
But that's really great to know. What a great form of therapy, because, hypnotherapy isn't for everybody. Because, people think, oh, well, I'll be subconscious and you're going to make me do weird things, or I'm going to say things that I won't remember. So some people have fears based with hypnotherapy. So it seems to me that this breathwork therapy is actually a great alternative to that. I mean, I know it's different, so it might be in as well, but yeah, and I love that it's self-healing. I mean, as I said, I'm a great believer in breathwork, so that's great. So it's Johnny Miller if you're interested in some breathwork therapy, and you'll find him at Zoe Clues and Associates. Many people on here know Zoe because I've done quite a lot of great videos with her. So thank you very much, and I hope you'll speak to me again.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.